And then the Bloodline Civil War is our main event with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa against the Usos. Roman Reigns entrance, 4.5 minutes.
Okay. It's to me always a glorious 4.5 minutes because, like, if I'm watching this on a delay, I get to catch right up. I get to go downstairs, eat some pizza. It's the best.
Nick Khan was not missing this match. He was there in the front row. I don't know if he was participating in the "fuck you, Roman" and "tribal wanker" chants that went through the O2 Arena at the beginning. Sikoa starts, then Reigns wants in, and Sikoa stares a hole in him before finally tagging. And the crowd gets behind Jay before they lock up. I'm just going to state that this match, I'm sure it's going to be memorable. It's going to be memorable for the last 5 minutes. I don't know if it's going to be memorable for the first 25.
I don't think so either.
This was like, if you watch this on mute, again, all praise to this crowd that they were into this. But I was watching the first 25 minutes, and dude, this was the slowest plodding match that I was just struggling through. It was like they were doing so little. So the crowd is chanting and keeping this thing alive. Reigns is telling Heyman how England is full of idiots. And then we have the heat on Jimmy for a long time. Sikoa would yank Jay off to prevent the tag. And then when Jay is finally tagged, he hits a hip attack onto Sikoa. And then they dive onto Reigns and to Sikoa. And the Usos hit a double spear to Roman. And Sikoa makes the save. And the announcers are trying to state that had it not been for Sikoa, Reigns would have been pinned there. And Cole is reminding you that it was December of 2019, the last time Roman was beat. And then Michael Cole in his line of the night, 18,885 have been loud and obnoxious all night long. And he said it in such a normal way that it felt as though he doesn't truly know the offensive nature of the word obnoxious, as he was like, this crowd, they're so great. They're being so obnoxious. This is how dull I was feeling at this part of the match. So things would pick up. Jimmy eventually leaped into a guillotine, and he fights his way to his feet and gets free of the guillotine. And then the guillotine is reapplied, and Reigns runs them into the referee, Dan Engler, who spills to the floor, and he's out. But the guillotine is broken, so they super kick and hit the 1D to Roman. Jay goes for the cover, and the audience is counting, but there's no referee. So Reigns and Sikoa come back with double Uranagis, a Samoan spike to Jimmy, and then a spear Samoan spike combo onto Jay. So you think both are dead, and Sikoa stacks the two on top of each other. Roman goes for the cover, and when the Usos kick out, this place exploded. And from this point onward, they had this crowd, and this was where the match had your undivided attention. Sikoa misses a splash to Jimmy on the floor and crashes through the desk. Then Jay and Reigns are trading, and there is a spear to Jay. He kicks out, but in kicking out, his arm is between the legs of Roman, and he low blows Roman, which is a great callback to all of those Roman spots where it was the other way around. So the whole crowd is chanting Uso, and they hit super kicks to Reigns. Jay climbs up and hits the Uso splash. And as Cole yells, "Do you believe in miracles?" Jay pins Roman Reigns in 32 minutes and 5 seconds. And Reigns is just seething on the floor afterward as the Usos celebrate in the ring. And Jay Uso gets the big pin on Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm. They did it. They had Jay Uso pin Roman Reigns. Fantastic conclusion to the match. I completely agree that the early goings on were very slow. Almost even
I cannot. Yeah, to me, it was like too much that I cannot give this this match like some overwhelming praise, because it was a great booked final 5 minutes with a great finish. It sets up your SummerSlam main event. It accomplished a lot, but for me, like, it was just so bare bones for 75 to 80% of the match.
I'm guessing they laid out the match that way maybe because they figured the crowd would be doing much of the heavy lifting for them.
They did. I mean, they thought right. This crowd, like, they were not sitting on their hands.
But it was not enough, especially when you're watching on TV at the end of, this 3.5 hour show. I am a big fan of this sort of like bloodline style of in-ring theater type of storytelling. I didn't think tonight was a great example of it other than the last 5 minutes. So throwing that aside, I thought they did a great job with that stacking false finish. Again, going back to the Heyman tease early on, Roman on Twitter, and then you have the combination of the spear and the spike. And they've done such a great job of protecting the spike. Even talking about the Ridge Holland match yesterday,
Yep.
All focused around his injury from the Samoan spike. That coupled with the spear, coupled with the stacking, coupled with Paul Heyman on the kickoff, giving you, not a prediction, but a spoiler, really, really had, I would say, most people biting in that as the actual finish. And when both Usos happened to kick out of it, I thought that was not, number one, just like a wonderful moment. It was a wonderful callback, perhaps, to just all the times that the stacking finish actually worked out for them. I also loved some of the storytelling that they did after the kickout, where you had Solo really starting to doubt whether or not Roman is actually fit for the role. I mean, coming off of that stacking kickout was when Roman looked, I think, about as lost as you've ever seen him in this Tribal Chief run. And instead, I think just through like their acting, had Solo start to question whether or not he should be following this guy, and he started to lead. He started to grab the ball, and he started to lead Roman for a period. So I thought that there was some wonderful building non-verbally just between the two of them through that. And then you had that wonderful call back to the low blow, and then just again another very cathartic finish with Jey Uso finally getting that pinfall over Roman Reigns, the guy that this whole thing started off with, finally getting that pinfall. Not the pinfall, but still breaking that winning streak from Roman is in some ways certainly more triumphant than, most other singles championship wins that are available in this company.
They no longer have to cite Baron Corbin as the last person to beat this. That has no value attached to it at all. And now Jey, he's got that attached to him. I thought Solo Sikoa, especially for a guy that does pretty much no talking, and you sense that you are getting so much depth to who this guy is through just reactions and how he responds. Like, he is coming into his own, and it has been just, this guy's been on the main roster for 10 months.
I think he's been the best call up like that. I mean, would you consider him a performance center guy? Yes. I don't know how much independent wrestling experience he might have had prior, but I don't think it was anything all that notable. He, to me, feels like a homegrown WWE talent, and one that I feel is might be, at least, the 2.0 era, that their best creation.
I think of the 2.0 era 100%. He would be. I'm looking up here. He was on Independence, for a few years, but I mean, you're talking about not a crazy amount of matches before he got to NXT. We're talking probably 20 matches that he had from 2018 until 2020. He was getting into, so under 25.
He's come in here as a rookie, and he was never booked as a rookie in this stable. He's the powerhouse of the stable. Last night they teased that he could possibly be the leader of the stable, and these audiences were buying it. So he's completely excelled in this role.